It was raining that night. Lena sat alone on the edge of the old wooden bed. Her wedding dress was soaked and torn at the bottom. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes were red from crying. The room was dark, silent, and cold. Just a small lamp flickered in the corner. She stared at the door. It felt like a prison. She whispered to herself, "They threw me away like I was nothing." Her heart was heavy, but her face was calm. In the distance, she could still hear her adopted family's laughter. They had left her in a poor village with a man they called a useless farmer. But what they didn't know was the secret she now held close. The man they forced her to marry wasn't just anyone. He was hiding something huge, and soon, the whole world would know. Lena grew up in a big house with shiny floors and expensive things. Everyone thought she was lucky. But behind closed doors, it was different. She was never treated like family. Her adopted mother always looked at her with cold eyes. Her adopted father was quiet. He never stood up for her. At 16, Lena overheard a secret. She wasn't their real daughter. She was adopted as a baby. That day changed everything. The love she thought she had disappeared. Her adopted mother became meaner. Her adopted sister, Mira, started acting like a queen. Mira got the best clothes, the best food, and the best education. Lena was given old books, leftover meals, and a long list of chores. Every time guests came, Lena had to stay out of sight. Her mother would say, "She's just a helper." That word burned in her chest. But Lena stayed quiet. She didn't fight. She hoped things would get better. They didn't. One day, she heard her family talking. They wanted to get rid of her, not with love, not with care, but by marrying her off to a poor man in a faraway village. They said, "She's not ours anyway. Let her go. She's just a burden." Lena had no choice. The wedding was planned in just 3 days. There were no flowers, no music, no joy. She wore a plain dress and sat quietly while the priest read the vows. Her eyes were empty. Her heart was broken. She didn't know the man she was marrying. His name was Armen. He stood there in old clothes with dust on his shoes. He said nothing, just looked down. Her adopted family didn't even wait for the ceremony to end. They handed her a small bag of clothes and left. No hugs, no goodbye. As the car drove away, Lena stood there alone, married to a stranger, in a place she didn't know. Her mother's last words rang in her ears. "Now you belong where you came from, the dirt." The village was quiet. The house was small. There were cracks in the walls and no electricity in the kitchen. She sat on the floor that night, tears rolling down her face. She thought her life was over, but what she didn't know was that this was just the beginning. Lena thought life in the village would be hard. She expected shouting, insults, maybe even pain. But Armen surprised her. He was quiet but kind. He gave her space. He didn't ask for anything. He cooked meals and left her the bigger portion. When she cried at night, he didn't ask why. He just placed a blanket near her and walked away. Every morning, he brought fresh water from the well. He fixed the roof when it leaked. He washed his own clothes. Lena was confused. She had never seen a man treat her like this, not even her adopted father. Slowly, she started talking. Just a little. A thank you. A small question. A quiet laugh. Armen listened. He never interrupted. He never judged her. She noticed how he treated others too. He helped the old man next door, gave bread to a hungry child, shared money with someone who lost their job. But one thing kept bothering her. The house was poor, yes, but sometimes she saw things that didn't make sense. He had a phone that looked expensive, a watch that seemed out of place, a book in English about global business. Lena began to wonder, who really is Armen? One afternoon, Armen left early to help a neighbor. Lena was cleaning the house. While sweeping near the back wall, she noticed a loose wooden plank. Curious, she gently pushed it. Behind it was a small, hidden door. She opened it slowly. Her eyes widened. Inside was a clean room, completely different from the rest of the house. It had a laptop, designer suits, shiny shoes, and shelves full of business books. There were photos, too. Armen in a suit, shaking hands with important people, standing in front of fancy buildings. She felt dizzy. This didn't make sense. Who was this man? Why was he living like a poor farmer? That evening, she waited for him. When Armen came home, she didn't shout. She just looked him in the eyes and asked, "Who are you really?" He stayed quiet for a moment. Then he sat down and told her the truth. He was the only son of a billionaire businessman. His father owned a chain of companies across the country. But after his father died, Armen left the city. He was tired of fake people. He wanted to live a simple life, away from greed. So, he disappeared. Lena couldn't believe what she heard. The man she was forced to marry was richer than her adopted family ever dreamed of. But what shocked her more was this. He knew who she was before the marriage. He had seen her once, years ago, at a charity event. She had given her food to a hungry child, even when she had none left for herself. That kindness stayed in his heart, and when he heard about her situation, he made a quiet decision. He asked to marry her, not out of pity, but out of respect. Tears filled Lena's eyes. For the first time, someone had seen her true worth. Lena's heart was full, not just with love, but with fire. She remembered every cruel word, every time they called her a burden. She looked at Armen and said, "I want to rise. I want them to see me." He nodded. "Then let's begin." Armen slowly brought her into his world. He taught her about business, money, and leadership. She listened, learned, and worked hard. In just a few months, she changed. The shy, unwanted girl became strong and confident. She walked tall. She spoke with power. Armen gave her control of one of his smaller companies. Lena surprised everyone. She turned it into a success. Her name started to appear in newspapers and business websites. Then came the moment they had waited for. Her adopted family's business was falling apart. They had taken bad loans. Their rich contacts had left them. They were desperate. One day, they reached out to a new company for help, a company now owned by Lena. They had no idea, no clue that the girl they threw away was the woman behind the name. A meeting was set. They walked into the office, tired and worried. They were there to beg for help, not knowing who they were about to face. Lena stood behind the glass, watching them enter. Her hands were calm. Her heart was steady. It was time. The door opened. Lena walked into the room. She was wearing a sharp black suit and heels that clicked on the floor. Her hair was tied back. Her face was calm. Her adopted parents looked up. For a moment, they didn't recognize her. Then their eyes widened. "Lena?" her adopted mother whispered. Shock filled the room. Lena sat down at the head of the table. She looked straight at them. "You asked for help, so let's talk." Her adopted father stuttered, trying to explain their situation. Her sister, Mira, looked down in shame. Lena listened without emotion. Her voice was quiet but strong. I remember the day you said I was a burden, that I didn't belong. Now you need me. They apologized. They begged. They said that they were wrong. Lena took a deep breath. I don't need revenge, she said softly. I just wanted you to see who I became without you. She stood up, walked to the door, then turned around one last time. I forgive you, but I'll never forget how you made me feel. Then she left, strong, free, and proud. Outside, Armen was waiting. He smiled and held out his hand. She took it. As they walked away, ended the story. Sometimes life breaks you to build you, and sometimes the ones who threw you away end up watching you shine. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Join us for more unforgettable tales, emotional twists, and powerful lessons. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.